When I first heard of the interest of Barcelona in signing Martin Braithwaite, Danish international, I didn't know how to feel, I didn't know what to say. How come a player previously of Middlesbrough of Leganés be linked to one of the biggest clubs in the world? It had to be a joke, and a bad one at that. How could a player so humble, for the lack of a better word, be earning the trust and respect of a fan base that to a certain extent had been spoiled with legends and giants like 𝗀𝘂𝘁𝗶𝗶𝗲, Villa and Ibrahimovic? I was being rightfully doubtful at the time, but thankfully now, looking with hindsight, I feel thankfully naive, and you may also feel the very same way. This is because two things: discipline and self-confidence. When you don't have the talent of the greats, you need to make up for it in some way. It can be intelligence, it can be hard work, it can be mentality. And in the case of Martin Braithwaite, it's a combination of all of this. Thanks for taking the time now today to discover why Martin Braithwaite is proving to be Barcelona's secret weapon. Everyone loves an underdog, and on top of that, rooting for the underdog is always easy. You almost certainly do it unconsciously, to be honest. They have little at stake, but many challenges to overcome. Thus, it's almost automatic for us to feel attracted by them in some case. Arriving from a strong relegation candidate in Leganés for 18 million euros as an emergency signing when the transfer window was already closed at the age of 28, after an unsuccessful spell in the English second division, Martin Braithwaite arrived at Barcelona as an underdog. No one gambled on him at first, yet his unmatched capacity to break down prejudices has earned him many admirers. 9 months later, I have to admit that to my surprise, Braithwaite is still a Blaugrana and somehow has managed to earn the legendary number 9. With Luis Suarez departing to Atletico Madrid for a bare piece, Braithwaite has remained Barcelona's only striker option. The Danish history since his move to Barcelona can be defined with one word: surprise. Predicted to have no place in the team, a useless transfer to be completely honest, and a low-tier striker, Braithwaite has positively surprised many culés. Against Getafe in the mid-October, that was when Braithwaite finally played his very first game of the season, coming off the bench for 10 minutes. However, his performances now against Dynamo Kiev, against Ferencváros, and against Osasuna has really motivated Koeman to give the Danish striker more chances. Not only was he the first start of the season, but also the second time where he was on the pitch for the entirety of Barcelona's 90 minutes. When the lineup was announced, his inclusion over Ousmane Dembélé and Antoine Griezmann was questioned. Yes, I must agree, but he ended the game with 2 goals and 1 assist, not to mention that he won the penalty, which he later scored. Against Osasuna in La Liga some days later, Braithwaite maintained his scoring record, getting 1 goal before starting against Ferencváros and creating yet another penalty and a 20-minute tap-in. With 4 goals and 1 assist in 3 games, Martin has done more than okay if you ask me. From an argumentative standpoint, this might be more than enough to suggest that the Danish should continue starting. And if that is the case, I agree. It is no exaggeration that the forgotten Danish forward has come back to the center of the spotlight after these recent performances, and even though the team's bad result against Cadiz may cost his reception with the fans, the reality is that there is a key reason behind why Ronald Koeman never took the Dane out of the game. If there is something you need to take away from this video, it is the following. In contrary to Philippe Coutinho, to Antoine Griezmann, to even Lionel Messi, Martin Braithwaite does not need the ball to accomplish his work. He's a striker by naturaleza, a striker by trait. Off-the-ball runs, effective, selfless, and preserving his productivity contrast in immense quality to those of the multi-million euro acquisitions. If we examine Braithwaite heat maps in both 3 games, we will see that there is a central presence to his game, and therefore a sense of importance to the attack. Martin is the sun, and the attack orbits around him. By providing the linchpin on the final third of the field, it is easier then for the chances to flow, and for the players to return and regain their starting positions. Thriving without the ball, Braithwaite gives a lot and asks for very little in return. Braithwaite is a modest player, and I'm not only talking here about his salary, but also about what he provides on the field. He has a presence in the box that neither forward of the team already has, and is able to pin down defenders, creating space for the rest to exploit. Braithwaite is a complementary forward and one that will provide for the side by making others look good, not him. It is no secret as to why Barca play better with the B team. It is not because Messi was not there, as some Barca fans so desperately shout out, but rather because the B side is more balanced as a team, as a TEAMA team. As a conjunction of 11 players, they make more sense for one another. A 9, which pins down and complements. A 10, which creates. A right winger and a left winger which exploit the flanks and stretch out the defense. If we compare this now to the starting 11 that we saw against Cádiz, there is a severe lack of cohesion in the side. 3 10s and 1 number 9. Unless Barcelona get to have a proper number 9 anytime soon, it is probably the best for Braithwaite to remain in Koeman's system, because a striker is needed and Braithwaite might be the solution at the time. Whilst it seems really unlikely for him to start regularly, Koeman should review his options and reconsider his stance on Martin Braithwaite. Last but not least, I would also like to make a mention that perhaps the presence of a certain someone in Henrik Larsson as a coach on Braithwaite could be more than helpful. As super subs go and clinical strikers off the bench, Henrik Larsson is one of the best ever, and he will be of a clear influence when helping a player like Braithwaite understand his position in the team, but also the impact that he can have on it. A poacher by trade, the Danish and the Swede share similar profiles. Not a certainty, but certainly a fun thing to imagine if you ask me. Overall, Barcelona do not need superstars, they need modest players, and Braithwaite is one of them. Before rushing into conclusions, it is the best thing for the Danish international to be given more chances, and hopefully not in the form of the cameo like we've been seeing of each game. For against Cádiz, he proved what he's capable of bringing into the table: relentless running, a predatory instinct, and a never-dying attitude. Martin Braithwaite can prove to be Barcelona's biggest kept secret, something that many other top European teams may be wondering. How in the world could Martin Braithwaite hurt us? Well, you just wait and see.